So good evening to everyone. I hope you are doing good and safe back at home. Okay. Okay. Probably we're going to discuss today about Oracle HFM. I'm not sure like about kind of background you guys have. So some might be new to Hyperion or some might have experience in Hyperion and all. So basically like about this webinar, like we are going to discuss about Oracle HFM. HFM stands for Hyperion Financial Management. So a kind of quick overview exactly what HFM does and why people use HFM, the kind of market that we have HFM in the current situation and all. Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone for dialing in. I hope you will like this session. Okay, yeah. Okay, a quick overview of kind of Mindmajix. So first of all, thank you Mindmajix to kind of give me the opportunity to host this webinar. A quick overview of Mindmajix, like is a kind of leading global online platform, which is having like more than of 8 years of experience, where they have trained around like 400 like plus 400,000 students across the globe itself, and they kind of provide a kind of best-in-class training for all the individuals and the corporates as per the kind of project requirements and all. In kind of IT courses they have kind of more than 500 plus IT courses, including Hyperion, like PMP, big data, and all those stuffs. And the kind of trainers they have, like they have around like all industry certified experts, like we have like more than 10 years of experience, so that they can provide some real-time scenarios on the particular domain and the technology that you might be looking for. Discuss about the today's topic. So we're going to discuss about these few things. What exactly is HFM is all about? A quick of introduction of HFM. Also, a quick history of HFM, how the kind of HFM started, and how Oracle came to the picture. Quick feature and benefits of HFM, why people look for HFM, what are the key benefits that we have. Quick also installation and configuration overview of Oracle HFM. And what are the things that you need to have before you start HFM, the kind of package that we got for HFM, what exactly that's included in that package, how basically HFM works, quick overview how the HFM business process, like how HFM are used in a real-time scenario, how the business process works in HFM, kind of quick overview of the dimensions of HFM that we have, and also like how to create those members, what are all those members that we have inside those dimensions, how to load those members, how to extract those members in a Hyperion application, and also a quick overview of some modules like about forms. Quick overview like what is data form, what is data grid, and all those stuff, and also quick career and job opportunities that we have in Oracle HFM, and the last we'll have a quick Q&A session. So if you have any questions, just I mean to say feel free to ask at the end of the session, or probably if you want me to stop in between, you can also ask in between as well. Okay, let's give a quick start. Okay. So what exactly is HFM is all about? Like it's a kind of financial consolidation product. So basically, like if you talk about consolidation, means it's kind of rolling up data from a bottom level to a top level. Okay, so what that's exactly consolidation means. So basically, like as you understand by the term, like HFM stands for Hyperion Financial Management, where basically it's used in all the industry where we have to mention some finance, where you have to mention some finance things. So it's basically used in like medium or kind of small medium companies and mostly large company itself. I'm talking about like if you have a kind of small company where you have 10 employees, yeah, in that case you might not require a tool like Hyperion. You can use a kind of Excel to get all the finance details. But if you're going for a big organization or a kind of small medium or a medium organization, definitely you kind of need a tool to kind of understand or realize the kind of cost that you're incurring, what is the kind of expense that we're having, the kind of profit they are having, so that you have to kind of have all the information handy in one place. And what exactly HFM does is kind of does a consideration from a bottom level to top level, so we can get the kind of idea at the end of the year, how much is my actual data, how much is my budget, how much is my forecast, what was my prior year data, and all those stuff. Okay. So the main thing that basically HFM does is all about kind of consolidation, which also includes like a translation of currency. Now, say for example, like I'm talking about only of India. In that case, we do not require any translation because it's just a India-based company. But if you're talking about like a global-based company, in that case, they have their footnotes across the globe itself. Like they might have the companies in UK, US. They might have companies in India, like China, or probably in a kind of Pakistan or Bangladesh or something like that. So they have their own kind of local currency over there. Okay, so in that case, we have to make sure like we have to build a software where basically the translation also happens. Like they will be entering data in local currency, but those data need to be translated to the kind of parent currency that we have, or probably the application currency. Now, say for example, if you have the headquarters of a company, say for example in UK, okay, then that means the application currency of that company would be basically in pounds or euros. But say for example, like if you have a kind of a company, same company in India, okay, but you'll be entering data in Indian rupees, and after that, the number will get translated to euros or pounds in that case. Okay, so those things are kind of being handled within HFM using this currency translation method. Side by side, it does also intercompany elimination. So will I kind of show you exactly how intercompany elimination works, and probably in upcoming slides. So I kind of overview exactly what intercompany is all about. So say for example, like I'm talking about a kind of company in India where you have they are kind of they have kind of regions over here, like some have in Chennai, some part in you have in Mumbai or Pune and all those stuff. Now, say for example, like in one particular region, like say for in the south region, so probably they require some kind of laptops, or probably like hard drive, or probably a chair or table between in the particular region itself, like say for example in Chennai itself. Okay, though in that case, other than kind of approaching or probably buying something from outside, they feel like okay, fine, they have a different location in Chennai. Say for example, they have two different locations in Chennai, okay, or probably two different locations in Mumbai, or two different locations in Pune itself, okay, and they thought, okay, let's approach the other location whether they have those this kind of equipments handy, other than kind of purchasing from the local market. Okay, and if they feel like they have the kind of laptops or hardware from Pune location, then probably they'll approach the Pune location, and probably Pune location is going to ship those items to the Mumbai location in that case. Now they are kind of saving the money over there. Okay, so if you see the kind of transaction that's happening within an organization where they're kind of saving some money because you have a surplus of essentially in one particular place, and after that you don't need to buy those items from the market. Okay, so in that case, those transactions that's happening within an organization, those transactions needs to be kind of eliminated. Those transactions cannot be kind of processed, okay, and those data cannot be moved to the top level. Okay, so that we cannot show like I have done a profit of like 10,000 by not buying source items from the market. Okay, because you have kind of got those items from a one more partners like that you have in Pune, or might have in Mumbai, like that. Okay, so these are called a kind of intercompany transactions. Okay, but that's happening within the organization. Okay, and those transactions needs to be eliminated when those data rolls up to the top level. Okay, so and that's how basically eliminations come into the picture. We have something called as ownership calculations over here, where basically like if you own say for example like 70% of shares on so and so company, or probably 30% of holding in so and so company, in that case we can also do a kind of ownership calculation where basically 30% of data will get consolidated, or 70% of data will get considered to the top level. Okay, so those things can also be managed within this HFM application, where those modules, or probably those parameters can be taken into the counter itself. In terms of like accounting standards, like we have, so if you talk about IFRS, if you talk about US GAAP, or any statutory kind of accounting standards, or Indian accounting standards, everything can be incorporated in HFM. So if you so you can understand like it's a kind of application that can be used across the globe, because it maintains all the different regions accounting standards as per the requirement itself. If you say exactly what HFM does, so probably you can just a quick answer, you can say like the where data basically comes in. Okay, so you can you can enter data into the system. Okay, or probably you can have the data from a different source. Okay, and probably you can run a consolidation, and after that you can get the report in the data in a kind of report as well. Okay, in a kind of control and secure environment. So in simple language, what HFM does, where basically data comes in. Okay, and after that you do a consideration, and after that you can get the data in a particular nice report and all, so that you can kind of share the reports with your directors, or basically to external regulators, or probably to public itself, like this is the kind of profit that we have done, this is the kind of expense that has been done, this is the kind of gross revenue they have done. So like any public companies, like you have to they have to kind of showcase their quarterly reports, or probably annual reports, okay, at the end of the year itself. Okay, and that is how basically HFM or reporting comes into the picture. Okay, and that's how basically when I mean to say, you'll see like all the finance guy will be busy in kind of consolidating the numbers, getting all the reports ready, and also that they can showcase how the company is kind of performing at the end of year, at the end of each quarter and all. Okay, and that's how you have seen the market will kind of in a kind of good sign, or it will be like a bad sign if the company performs really bad or performs really well in that case. So the kind of reports that we get are kind of monthly or quarterly, or basically year-end balance sheet, or profit and loss, cash flows, or the supplementary reports, are the typical output of HFM. Okay, so basically that's how the kind of reports that we get as a part of HFM, and I think you understand this kind of report terms as well, because these are report that you have seen each public sector companies publish those reports as a part of their like quarterly cycle, or probably annual cycle in that case over here. Okay, a quick introduction to HFM. So as we talked about HFM, so kind of it's a kind of financial consolidation tool which basically combines financial data from several subsidiaries. That means several business areas or regions or business entities within an organization, and roll up the data to a parent company for reporting purpose. Okay, so it's a kind of consolidation tool which kinds of gets data from different locations, or different regions, or different subsidiaries, or different kind of say sub-regions and all, and they kind of roll up the data from those regions to a parent headquarter or a parent company for reporting purpose. What a kind of quick process that involves, like, is kind of data collection from different locations. Okay, that means, like, as I was talking about, if you have a global organization, okay, in that case they'll get those data from different locations, then they will kind of sum up the data and kind of show the data or report the data to the like top level headquarters or top level parent. It's a parent in that case. And also it does a calculations. Okay, so basically like a quick calculation, like say for example, like if you want to have sum of so and so accounts, or probably like multiplication of that account with that account, or something like that. So any kind of calculation that we can do, so we can create a rules out of it as well. And all side by side we can have a translation if you have a like a multi-currency involved, if you're talking about a global organization. And also with that, elimination and consolidation, we'll also see a quick example how that occurs, where I talked about like how consolidation happens, where data rolls up to the from bottom to top level, and elimination in case if you have some intercompany transaction in between. And after that, you'll also validate the data, because until you validate the data, you cannot publish data in the market, right? So we have to validate the data against some particular we have something called as process management, where the data gets validated over there. And after that, we report the data basically as a report, like a financial reporting studio that we have, where you can have this data report in a nice like reporting manner itself, and after I kind of see the data in a kind of A4 studio and all this stuff. Okay, so this is a kind of quick process that involves. Okay, so you can say like what exactly the process is: kind of data collection from different kind of stakeholders, doing calculation of the data, then after doing translation if in case if you have a multi-currency, and after that elimination and consolidation if you in case you have some intercompany. And anyhow, like you have to do a consolidation when you have to report the numbers to the parent level. And after that, you have to validate the data, because you cannot just kind of submit the data, probably kind of like broadcast the data to the external stakeholders until unless you kind of validate the data. And after that, you have to report the data to the external stakeholder if in case if you are like a public sector company in that case. Okay, this is a kind of quick introduction. I'll show exactly how things happens as a part of data collection. So if you see a quick overview exactly about the account structure. So if we have some accounting structure like income before taxes. Okay, so below that you have gross margin. Okay, and below that you have total revenues and total costs. So basically, like, we are trying to calculate what is the gross margin of a particular company. Okay, which basically will be a like a total revenues, okay, minus total costs that you have done. Okay, now say for example, total cost for a company would be basically all the salaries that they are kind of paying to the employees over here. Okay, and revenues in the sense it will be like kind of sales that they have done or the kind of other revenues they have kind of got out of it. Okay, so it kind of shows a kind of child and the descendants, okay, structure, where you have a parent called as income before taxes. Below that you have this gross margin, where it's kind of calculating the gross margin, what is the gross margin that I'm getting out of this. And within the gross margin you have two child call as total revenues and total cost. Okay, and total revenues also have some descendants called as sales or other revenues, and total costs have a descendants as salaries. So if you see the numbers, how the number gets aggregated to the parents. Okay, on the right hand side if you see the slide, so the salaries, if you have paid around like $400 or $400K to your employees, okay, the total salaries gets accumulated and it goes to total cost in that case. Okay, there might be some other costs like building up some infrastructure, like buying some chair tables or laptops or anything like that, so that comes within your CTC. That thing also gets added to a total cost of a company. Okay, side by side in terms of revenue, like how the revenue they have generated with the number of sales they have done. So if in case like it's a kind of company like say for example Intel or probably Lenovo, it will be basically kind of sales they have done in terms of laptop sale or something like that. So in that case they'll kind of having those in sales or kind of other revenues if in case they have sold something through other kind of stakeholder. And if the numbers kind of gets aggregated and the total revenue gets summed up as 900. Okay, so in case the gross margin will be like a total revenue that you have done and the total cost that you have incurred, that will 900 minus 400, that comes around 500 over here. Okay, so kind of quick overview exactly how the numbers gets aggregated okay, within a parent level, and how basically this child and this parent relationship happens. Okay, so you can see quickly a quick overview that I want to show how the data gets collected and gets calculated to the top level over here. Quick over exactly how the translation happen. Okay, so if you see on the left hand side, we have this multi-currency application. Okay, where we have one entity where you're entering the data in INR, and you have another entity where you are entering data in USD dollars. But basically the application is kind of in a USD application. That means the kind of their headquarters is based out of US. So in that case, you have to report the number in USD over there in dollars itself. Okay, now if you see the kind of sales and expense they have done is around like 25K. The profit, the reserve and liquidity they have made is around like 45K. So the kind of total asset will be around like 45K over there. Okay, but if you see on the entity B, all the numbers are in USD, and I have to report the number in a in USD itself. Okay, so in that case, on the left hand side, whatever you see the total asset as 155K, that basically is not correct, because you have to apply some exchange rate, since you have a multi-currency application and you are having numbers from different you are having numbers from different region with a different currency itself. Okay, so in case if your application is a kind of US application, and then you have to report the numbers in USD, in that case you have to kind of translate the numbers, okay, using exchange rate. I've given exchange rate of 45 just for an example, so might be around like 70 or 80 right now. Okay, so you have to multiply that number by that particular exchange rate, and you have to report the numbers and kind of convert the numbers into USD over here. Okay, so basically like the right number or right numbers that you will see basically on the right hand side. Okay, where basically the entity A, where you have the numbers in INR, need to be translated to USD. Okay, where you have to multiply those numbers with a exchange rate, and after that you have to convert the numbers, and after that you will get right numbers will be like 50,000 plus 33 will be like 50.33K. Okay, and that's how the numbers is going to get consolidated after getting translated. Okay, this is a kind of simple way to make you understand exactly how the translation happens in the background.
Kaushik
If
has
you have a
one question. Shailesh over
yeah,
here.
hi Shailesh.
Yeah. In the translation, I see the exchange rate for revenue items, which might be the average rate, which is applied 45. And for the
Mhm.
balance sheet items, you have applied the closing rate 50. But then in case
Okay.
of fixed asset, there is a rate of 51. So what would this rate be?
Okay, that's a very good question. That's a very good thing that you've identified. Thanks for asking this question, Shailesh. So basically, like how things happens in an organization. Okay, so there is kind of three different rate that we have. Okay, one is basically the average rate, okay, which means the average of, so basically like what happens in organization. Okay, so basically like you'll be entering data on a daily basis, right? Okay, now you have done a sales today of like 5k, you enter numbers as 5k. Tomorrow you had a sales of 2k, you enter the numbers as 2k. Like that it goes, and at the end of the month, basically where basically we have to validate those numbers. Okay, now all these reporting things happens at the end of every month, or probably at the end of every quarter, or the end of every half yearly, or the annual process. That depends on the organization. That you have to leave it to the organization how it happens. Now the thing is that it's up to the organization to kind of take a call, okay, whether I should take a average rate, or the end of month rate, or basically the start of month rate. Okay, so there is kind of three different rates that kind of happen. So basically if you see in the market today, $1 is basically equals to like 70 rupees, like that. Tomorrow it might be like 69 rupees. Day after tomorrow it might be like 72 rupees. Okay, the rates keep on changing on a daily basis. Okay, so either you kind of take a rate which is basically the starting rate of the month, or probably you take a rate that is the ending rate of the month, or probably you take a rate that's average of the whole month. Okay, and that's why the rate are kind of being changed. Okay, so for example for the sales I have taken a kind of average rate. Okay, now for the profit I might have taken a kind of starting month rate, and for the fixed asset I might have taken a kind of end of month rate. Okay, and that's how the rate has been changed over here, though the numbers are kind of being translated from INR to USD in that case. I hope, Silesh, I could have given that answer right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, coming to that elimination and consolidation. So basically, if you see over here, a normal simple consolidation looks like that, but you have a sales of like 15,000 for entity A. For entity B, have something as 50,000 over here. The normal consolidation number will be like around 65k. Now, if you see on the right hand side, okay, now there has been some kind of intercompany transaction over here of 3k. Okay, and I told you in the beginning itself, if you have any kind of intercompany transaction, okay, in that case you have to make sure you do not kind of report the numbers to the top level. So you have to eliminate those numbers over here. Okay, so normally in that case, if you'll see, entity A and entity B will be around 12k and 50k, and the consolidated number will be 62k instead of 65k. Okay, the 63k that you see basically for the intercompany sales will not be kind of considered to the top level. So in that case, we have to bring something as called as elimination logic, where you have to create an elimination entity where you have to eliminate the number with the same number. Say for example, if you have an intercompany transaction of around 4k or 10k or 60k, something like that, and you have to eliminate the number with the same kind of elimination logic you have to apply, and after that you have to eliminate with the same number itself. That's how basically HFM works. Okay, and also basically if you see, the number will be showing as 62k, but we're also bringing a kind of elimination over here where it's kind of eliminating the number by the same same number as 3k, or sometimes might be at 4k. That depends. So I'm just giving an example of 3k in every places, and that's why I'm kind of removing the number from both from intercompany sales and intercompany purchase as well. Okay, and that's how basically the elimination logic happens in a consideration, because those numbers cannot be kind of rolled to the top level in that case. Okay, a quick history of Oracle HFM. So basically, like Oracle HFM started, so it was not like it started with Oracle HFM initially. So it was called as microcontrol. So it's kind of DOS product they released in 1980. And 1991, they kind of released a Windows version, and they kind of given a name called as Hyperion. So basically, the company name was Hyperion when they started in 1991, and after they kind of changed the kind of product to as Enterprise. So I worked on this product called as Hyperion Enterprise, because I was telling like when I started my career, I started my career with Hyperion, and that was the first time basically the Hyperion team came from US, and they kind of gave a hands-on training to us. So that was a kind of lovely training that I got from them. And that is how basically the Hyperion started in India. So that was a kind of bunch of like 30, 40 people in India. They knew about Hyperion at that point of time, 15 years back. Uh, so I worked on this Hyper Enterprise tool. This was a really nice tool. And Hyper Enterprise basically is being still used across the globe, basically in smaller, can say as small, medium companies. But if you're talking about a big organization, in that case, they don't use Hyperion, because in HFM, which is basically an upgraded version of Enterprise, okay, which has been released with some advanced features, having a kind of multi-dimensional structure over here, okay, where you can have or report the numbers in a multi-dimensional structure over here. So in 2000, basically, HFM was kind of I kind of it kind of was kind of released, which is a kind of, I will say, advanced version of Enterprise. Okay, and 2007 was basically when Oracle kind of acquired Hyperion at that point of time, because Oracle was not having a kind of tool, kind of data warehousing tool in the market where they can compete with other data warehousing tool that we have like SAP and all. So they kind of purchased Hyperion and they brought all the Hyperion products under one umbrella called as EPM, that's called as Enterprise Performance Management. In 2016, probably 3-4 years back, they kind of released also a kind of cloud-based version we say as FCCS. I'll not say that's a kind of fully cloud-based version of HFM, because FCCS kind of tool basically used as a kind of strategic finance tool. They have also kind of planning version of cloud, that is PBCS, EBPCS, and all those stuff. So yeah, I mean to say, Oracle is trying to move to cloud. They have their own cloud platform as well. Okay, what is Oracle Cloud, where they're kind of competing with AWS as well. So yeah, I mean to say, still we have HFM as an on-premise, where you can host HFM within your organization, where you can have your own infrastructure and all. But yeah, I mean to say, over the line, probably next 10 years or something like that, probably on-premise might not be there. But yeah, I can say like at this point of time, for the next like I will say like 10-15 years, we are going to have on-premise at least, because they have kind of released a kind of software version called as 11.2, which I'm also working on in the rhymes of migration. So that's the kind of product they are saying going to be stable for the next 10-15 years. Okay, so that's a very good news, I would say, because on-premise is going to stay for some time. Everything is not going to go to cloud. You can migrate your platforms to cloud, but I mean, this application will be still there in on-premise itself. Okay, so this is a kind of quick history of Oracle HFM.
Kaushik, one question.
Quick,
Shailesh
yeah.
again.
Hi, Shailesh. Yeah,
Yeah, can you just go back to the previous slide on the same?
yeah.
Now, if suppose a client approach to us and if he asks, I mean, what are the options available for HFM? As
Mm-hmm.
rightly said by you, there is an on-premise which is 11.2 and the FCCS. Considering
Yeah.
both these options, what should be like in terms of on-premise, there is always an infrastructure cost involved. Whereas in case of FCCS on cloud, there is no infrastructure cost involved. Having
Yeah,
said
because it
that,
will be
what having said this, what options or what how can we suggest a client, or what would be the prerequisites or this thing to suggest a client, whether it should
okay.
be an on-premise or it should be a cloud?
Okay, that's a very good question, Sailesh, once again. So basically, like, there are two things. Now, say for example, like, if the customer has been with HFM in the past, okay, but I will say in that case, it's not easy to migrate HFM to FCCs in that case. Now, if they feel like we need to move to cloud, in that case, we have an option where we can host your environment in AWS or probably host your environment in Oracle Cloud itself. Okay. Now, suppose, say for example, for a bank, because I work in a bank, we also kind of had an approach where we'll move to FCCS or probably move to a cloud. In bank, basically, like say for example, we have a scenario where we application are basically secret application. We cannot have any secret application in cloud. Okay, that's a kind of challenge that we had. So we tried with AWS, we tried with FCCS, but we could not go because there's a bit of challenge of hosting a secret application over here. So it's basically this up to the client, okay, to take a call on, because as of now, I'll not say like FCCS is a kind of alternative to HFM. Okay, it does, yeah, the kind of consolidation it does over here, but it's not a kind of totally a kind of replacement of HFM, I would say. Okay, now if this is for the first time, like the customers are looking for that, you can approach for that. But if you're saying like the customers having HFM the last 10 years, it's not going to work easily for you. Okay, so probably either if they are still looking for a cloud, you can ask them to probably host the application in a cloud environment. Okay, where basically the infrastructure will be either it will be with Amazon over there if you're using AWS, or probably Oracle if you're using Oracle Cloud over here. Okay, so in
No,
that case you can kind of, yeah.
Yeah, just to interrupt you, if the client is currently using 11.1.2.3 version of on-premise and
Yeah.
11.1.2.4, which is the FDME version, that for that also the Oracle has said that the support will exist only till December 2021. And
Yes.
11.2 has recently come in the market in last December 2019, which is not a
Yes.
stable product as of now, as today's date. Only
Yeah.
6 months have passed. So
Yeah.
having said that, what should one suggest to the client? I mean,
Yeah, so definitely, I think at this point of time, if you see like there's a stable product that we have in the market for the next 10 years, because like if you have been with Oracle, like in that case, every kind of 6 months they used to release a version. Okay, now they are saying for the next 10 years, I'm not going to release a new version. There'll be no 11.3 or there'll be no 11.4. There'll be 11.2. There can be some maintenance pack, like they have released also a kind of patches recently called as 11.2.2, but basically there was some compatibility issues and all with Windows. I mean to say Windows Server 2016 and all those stuffs and SQL Server 2016. Because initially they said like the new version is going to support all the platforms of Windows, all the platforms of SQL. Okay, but it was not there. But they have to release a kind of immediate patch for that, because that was a kind of case with us where we have to request Oracle to kind of release a maintenance pack, because for us, like we procured Windows Server 2016, but when the 11.2 was released, they said like it was not supported. So immediately they have to, within 2 months, they have to release a 11.2.1, and they have to uh, we have to kind of apply the patch so that it's kind of being supported with the kind of Windows version that we have. Okay, but yes, so coming to your question, basically like if you have that particular challenge, because we had the same challenge where we are kindly in 11.1.2.3. Okay, and we are kind of migrating to 11.2, because premier support is basically is going to end for, it's already ended, I'll say, for 11.1.2.3. For 11.1.2.4, I think that's going to end by end of next year, and for 11.2 they are having premier support for the next 10-12 years itself. Okay, I'll come to that. We have this kind of details over here itself. Okay, the kind of I mean say current version that's available in the market. Yeah, having said that, in that case, I think it's best to kind of inform the clients not to migrate to clouds, because if you're using HFM, it's not going to a very easy way to kind of migrate to FCC at this point of time. So either basically you can migrate to 11.2, and if you think like if you need to move to cloud, you can move your infrastructure to cloud, where you can host your Windows or basically in a cloud version as either in Oracle Cloud or probably in a AWS over here. I'll kind of also quickly cover that. That's a very good question, because if you see, I am going to cover over here exactly the kind of supports that we have. Yeah, having said that, like if you're still in 11.1.2.3, it's not a kind of hurry that you have to do today itself, because the extended support and the sustained support of Oracle is still going to be there. Okay, which means that if you find a bug in that previous version, that would not be fixed, but they will kind of provide a workaround. Okay, that's how basically the sustaining support or basically the extended support of Oracle works, because Oracle has the kind of three support. One is premier support, extended, and sustaining over here.
okay,
Okay, yeah,
thank you.
thank you. Okay, a quick features and the benefits of HFM. Basically, it's kind of reduce the consolidation and reporting cycle by days and weeks. So coming to this particular point, so if you're talking about organization where they have around like 6,000 accounts or 10,000 entities, in that case, okay, it's not easy to kind of report the numbers, or probably uh, kind of roll the numbers from a bottom level to top level in a day or two, like that. Okay, it might takes if you kind of work in Excel, it might takes kind of months or probably more than that in that case, right? So in basically in HFM, we can do a consolidation probably within a second. For a big application where you have a large number of accounts and entities, it might take probably 1 hour or 2 hours or probably 3-4 hours at the max. Okay, so there is a lot of ways where we can also reduce the consideration time. Okay, depending on the kind of requirement that we have. So for example, if you don't need to consider any no input numbers, you can also kind of skip that in that process. Okay, so that's how basically why HFM comes into the picture, because if you see the other available applications in the market, HFM one of the kind of application where it reduces the consideration timings by days, by weeks, okay, into kind of few hours or few minutes in that case. Okay, because it's a kind of comprehensive web-based application that delivers a global finance consolidation tool for reporting analysis, kind of single highly scalable solution. Also, if you want to kind of do a kind of key deep analysis of each and every key performance and operational metrics, we can report the numbers in a report, and you can also verify the numbers over here. It kinds of delivers accurate and timely reports for both internal management and external regulatory bodies. It can, because if in case if you are a public sector company, you have to report the numbers to the external regulators, or also you have to report the numbers to the market, right? So in that case, you have to make sure you report the numbers in the correct time, because once the quarterly numbers you have to publish by so and so date, you have to publish by so and so date. So in that case, we cannot expect a kind of delay in that scenario. So in that case, you have to have a robust application where basically it kind of create those numbers in a such a way so that you can get the numbers in a particular time and a particular date whenever it's required. Okay, so it's kind of highly efficient, does a highly efficient collections and consolidation of data from diverse sources. Now, say for example, why I'm saying diverse sources, like say for example, in a working organization where they might have numbers coming from SAP, okay, or probably might have numbers coming from PeopleSoft, because HFM can be integrated as well with a lot of different applications that's available in the market. Okay, so in that case, we can have the numbers moved from different diverse sources, and we can populate the numbers in HFM, do a consolidation, then after report the numbers to the external bodies over here. With that also, it has a features called as process management, where basically it kind of quick tight control of the review and the approval process that we have. Okay, now say for example, it's not about like submitting the numbers. Before submitting, we have a kind of review level inside HFM, where we have around reviewer 1 to reviewer 10 and a supervisor to kind of review the numbers before the numbers are kind of published in a market itself. Okay, where they kind of review, where if they say if they're okay, they'll approve the number. If they feel the numbers are not correct, they'll kind of reject the numbers over here. Okay, so we have this kind of tight process control where it goes to a process management level. Also, it does have data validations. Okay, so it also validates the numbers. If the numbers are not correct, it can also reject the numbers over here, and the numbers will not be kind of submitted to HFM databases. As I said, like translation that you already seen, where you can support multiple currencies, okay, across the globe, and also automatic elimination in case if you have a intercompany transaction within an organization. It kind of uncovers source of profitability and cash flow at company level, product or the brand or the customer level as well. Okay, and you can consider numbers as multiple consolidation path. Okay, say for example, like I need to also only report so and so numbers, only gross revenue or profit and loss. In that case, also you can do that. Okay, from diverse general ledger system, like if you have a kind of a defined ledger system like a kind of AME or kind of different late adjustment tools, also you can also do that from there, where you can integrate with AME as well, that can report the numbers and across the globe itself. So this is kind of quick feature and benefits. With that also, it does an integration with other EPM system that we have, other ERP system that's available in the market. EPM system like financial close management or profitability and cost management or strategic finance that we are planning, SPS and FDME. ERP system like it can also integrate with Oracle Business Suite, Oracle PeopleSoft, Oracle Fusion applications with kind of business intelligence suite that we have, enterprise editions and Oracle Financial Management Analytics for dashboard and real-time reports. In terms coming to data management, you can also integrate with ODI, okay, where you can also get the numbers from ODI, okay, and report the numbers over there itself. So in terms of integration, it can integrate a lot of applications or products that's available in the market. A quick overview exactly with installation and configuration. So basically, like in terms of download, you can download the softwares from Oracle Delivery. This is a link that we have, edelivery.oracle.com. So you have to just sign up over there. If you sign up, you can easily download. So basically, like you have to, if in case if you're downloading EPM, which basically, as I told you, like HFM stand under this umbrella called as EPM. Okay, so you have to search for enterprise performance management, and you have to add that to cart, and after that you can download. So it's not like a SAP, but basically, in case if you want to kind of download something, you have to kind of pay for it. So it basically like in case you want to have something kind of try something in your system, you can go for it. You can just download and you can just install and configure. Okay, probably like if you want to have something for testing within the organization, that also you can do for it. But yeah, if you're going to use in the organization where you're going to deploy this application to production, yeah, then you have to kind of pay for the license for the same. Okay, so you can contact the Oracle sales team to kind of purchase a license. Okay, coming to the current version that's available, so basically for current versions that we have is basically 11.1.2.4, where basically the premier support ends 2021. So that's the end of next year. That's going to premier support ends. They have also released 11.2 last December, around 18th of December they have released, and they have clearly said like this application, or sorry, this version is going to stay for the next 10 years for sure. Okay, so you can understand the on-premise application is going to stay for the next 10 years for sure. Okay, and there will be no more kind of version upgrade after that in the next 10 years. Okay, that's going to be a stable version as kind of said Oracle. So I'm also currently working in the migration project where basically I'm migrating, because currently our system is in 11.1 to 3. Okay, so we are kind of migrating everything to 11.2 as well. Okay, that's something we have to do by the end of this year, so it's kind of in process right now. This ongoing release is basically for all defect fixing, any kind of third-party certification upgrades and enhancement at least for the next 10 years. Okay, because Oracle has a kind of tendency of releasing new version every 6 months. That's going to get stopped because they are kind of saying for the next 10 years there will be no new version of Oracle Enterprise. So this kind of a stable version that they're going to have in this market. Okay.
Kaushik, can I ask one question? Shailesh
Yeah,
here
sure.
again.
Go ahead. Hi,
Yeah,
Shailesh.
since you said that you are currently migrating, you are working on the migration project from 11.1.2.3 to 11.2. So how much is the
Yes.
time estimated, or how much is the project plan, like in terms of plans, like it is 6 months, 4 months?
Yeah, it depends. Like it depends on. So basically, for us is like 9 months. Okay, because we have kind of
Okay.
started probably around Feb or March like that. Okay, so currently I'll say we are kind of in a OET stage. Okay, where we already done with dev migration, UAT migration. Currently in the OET stage, and also in the testing with the business as well. We haven't kind of migrated to production right now because having said that to migrate to production, we have to get all the signups and all. So for us, is kind of I will say like a 6 months to 9 months project. I will say because it's almost like similar like if you have worked on system 9. Okay, whenever we have to migrate to system 11, we have to go through a kind of staging environment called as system 9.3.3. I'm not sure if you have worked on system 9 and all. Okay, and similarly for current version that we have 11.1 to 3, we have to go to basically a staging environment called as 11.1 to 4, and from 11.1 to 4 you have to migrate to 11.2. So it's not a kind of direct migration, I would say, so it's kind
Yes,
of
yes.
indirect. Yes.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
so that's kind of time taking, because you have to migrate all the application over there, host the application over there, and kind of register everything. Then after that, you have to go back to the respective environment like of dev, UAT, OAT, as well as production and DR. Okay,
But this is
so that's
only HFM. This migration is only HFM or planning also?
everything as across, like because we kind of host like planning, SPS, HFM, FDME, DRM, and everything like that. So almost all
Okay,
Oracle components that we have. Okay,
okay.
so
Kaushik, my
migrating
name
Okay.
is
everything. Yeah, hi.
Kaushik. My name is Victor, and I'm based in the United States. Towards the end of your
Hi.
program, I do have a question which is two-part. So I'll just
Uh,
wait till you finish.
yeah, sure, definitely. Happy to hear the
Thank you.
questions. Yeah, yeah. Anything, Shailesh?
No, no, that's it. Thanks, Kaushik.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, a quick overview. In case like I think you might have done in the past in terms of installation and configuration. So basically, when you install Oracle HFM, so you have to select the Oracle instance while installing the Oracle over there. So for you, I've just named an instance called as HFM1. Okay, and after that, you have to also mention the database schema that you want to connect, whether it's Oracle database or SQL database, as well as like the username and password that you have to punch in. And after that, if in case it's like a upgrade where you are kind of doing a maintenance pack, so you have to select this application upgrade over here, and you have to deploy that first to application server, like basically your Oracle WebLogic, where you are going to host that. And after that, you have to also mention all this port on in case if you're having a SSL connection and all. And yeah, for HFM, basically you have to also mention the server and cluster, because if you are talking about a small application where you have very minimal accounts or very minimal entities, in that case you might not require a very big kind of robust environment where, say for example, in our case, basically we have around like 4 HFM app servers, so you can have at least in one over there. Okay, but in case if you're having 4 HFM server, you have to make sure you do a server clusterization. So basically HFM connects to a cluster. In cluster you will have all those 4 servers available, so that at any point of time, in suppose in one of the case servers goes down, okay, it will look for the available server and that cluster is going to work in that case. So that's how basically the server cluster configuration work. Okay, so over here basically you have to mention server clusterization. So basically HFM connects to a cluster, and cluster defines which server that particular application is to connect, because depend on the CPU usage. Say for example, the CPU usage of one particular server might be around 90%, where HTTP data source takes around like 90%, 95%. So in that case, you'll not route your kind of activity to that server. It will route your activity to probably the next server or other server where you have more CPU usage available. Okay, so that's how basically the server cluster configuration works in HFM. Okay, yeah, so basically like in case like if you want to kind of do some kind of practice, you can download, that's available in the e-delivery, and you can install and configure. You have all the details available in the Oracle itself. If you kind of search in the Oracle knowledge base, you'll get detailed information over here. In case like if you are going for a session with a kind of Mindmajix, they kind of give everything as a dump. Okay, basically where they'll have a kind of virtual machines where you have everything hosted, including all the Hyperion products like SBS and all. So you don't need to kind of take tension or probably kind of concern having how to install or how to configure in that case. That's kind of available with Mindmajix in that case, in case if you are approaching Mindmajix. Okay, so that's how basically the installation configuration works. So I'll not go in details over here. Quick things about HFM. So at this point of time, HFM comes as a package, okay, where basically it comes bundled with 3 different softwares like Oracle Financial Reporting, okay, Hyperion Financial Reporting, Oracle Smart View, and Oracle Foundation Server. Okay, so initially, like when HFM started in the earlier version, there was no kind of reporting tool that was coming with that as a package. But nowadays, if you go for HFM, you will get that as a package along with FR over here. Okay, so as you know, like FR is basically the reporting and charting tool, where I was basically talking about reporting the numbers. So for that, you can have this tool for reporting any kind of numbers in a web or kind of web interface, and a kind of print or as a PDF as well, as a HTML or PDF. Okay, and it enables you to basically generate the kind of report in a formatted, in a book quality material as well. Like if you have a collection of reports, you can report the numbers in a book kind of a PDF file. Okay, and you can share that with your relevant management as well as directors in that case, that complies with according to regulations that we have or the external requirements that we have. Kind of smart view basically. So this kind of small add-in that we have in Hyperion, where basically you can integrate Hyperion with Excel. Okay, so that's a very nice add-in, I would say, because like whatever way you kind of say business, okay, you log into HFM, do these activities, they will still love Excel over here. Okay, so in that case, you can have this all the HFM things in a kind of Excel format, where you can log into you can launch Excel, and after that you can just install this add-in. After installing the add-in, basically you can the whatever activities that will perform inside HFM, like a consolidation of numbers or probably submitting of numbers, doing some calculations and all the stuffs can be done in a Excel file itself, and you can integrate with HFM over there. Okay, so that's a kind of very nice add-in that we have with Oracle HFM. Along with that, we have something called as foundation services. We share that as shared services, where basically we manage all the user security provision. Okay, I mean to say which user should be having what kind of access, because if you work in an organization, everyone cannot be an admin, right? So someone will be a business user, someone will be a developer, someone would be a support guy, one can be a kind of admin in that case, right? So in that case, there's a place where we kind of do all the provisioning stuff over here. Okay, so that's basically a quick overview exactly what are the other things that comes as a package along with Hyperion over here. A quick interface. We have something called as Workspace, where basically it hosts all the Hyperion applications. So if you're talking about launching a planning application or FDME or HFM, in that case, you have to log into Workspace, where there's a kind of single sign-on, depending if you have a native account or probably if you have a kind of Active Directory account, okay, like a LDAP or something like that. You can configure that in shared services, and you can log in within that user ID and password. Okay, and where basically you can perform all the kind of user creations or basically manage all the application or deploy applications. You can see the data and all those stuff. This is kind of centralized repository for key dimensional elements for different products over here. So okay, so that's if you see the screen below that, that's basically the workspace screen. Above that, I was trying to explain exactly what happens in the workspace. In workspace, basically you can see both HFM, the classic application, or basically the EPM applications over here. Okay, and basically apart from that, we also does the managing of all the other financial management applications and also managing the financial data. Okay, so kind of quick interface how it looks once you log into workspace over here. Kind of architecture that we have. So basically, HFM is kind of multi-tier architecture that includes a client, middle tier, and a database. Okay, there's one more kind of tier that you see at the bottom is called external services. In case if you want to integrate with any other any other kind of external reporting applications or anything as such, like a ERP tool or ODI in that case. So coming to the client, basically you have this workspace, okay, where you have HFM application, the EPM application, the reporting analysis application. Also we have this Microsoft Office where you've integrated with kind of smart view using that add-in. Also we have this HFM client where basically you create all the profiles and all those stuffs. Okay, and also we have this reporting studio where basically you kind of create the reports over here. Coming to the middle tier, basically is a kind of tier where host the application. So we have a company called as Oracle WebLogic, which basically hosts that application. Okay, and after that we have IIS. Okay, where basically to launch this application over the internet, you need a kind of IIS, right? So we have all the web servers and the services for kind of using the Hyperion. So say for example for HFM they have a service over here. For reporting they will have a services. For kind of SBS they will have a kind of services. So for all the Hyperion services will be hosted in the middle tier over here. The last third tier basically our data tier, where basically you have all the database over here. So if you have a kind of SQL or Oracle database, so you need to have the related schema over there. So you have to have a schema for share services or a HFM schema or EPM schema or calc manager or basically a reporting analysis schema over here. So kind of see a kind of multi-tier architecture that we have. And the last thing it talks about the external services. So in case like you need to load metadata or data from any other Oracle applications, okay, you can or kind of ERP tool that we can integrate. So you can use ODI or probably any other ERP and legacy system over here. So that's kind of things that I've explained over here. That's I kind of explained right now in this kind of screen. Okay, a kind of quick overview of HFM business process. So what happens in HFM? So basically you have to enter data into HFM through data forms or smart view. Can also load data through kind of text files, FDME or any kind of ERP integrator. So basically you can enter data as a kind of the kind of .dat file, where it's basically a TXT file over here. Okay, and probably modify the data and load the same, or else you can use a FDME, which kind of act as a kind of integrator, where it integrates with a lot of different application, where it does basically the mapping of all the Hyperion dimension, like coming to accounts entity, does all the mappings over here. Okay, or else you can you have any kind of ERP integrator tool over here. Apart from that, it does a calculation of data, where you can calculate data from a data grid or data from, and also calculate data from a process control module. Okay, and you can calculate using a kind of business rule in case if you have written some business rule. In terms of adjustment, the third thing that you see over here, where in case if you have, because like whatever data that's going to enter, that cannot be a kind of final data, right? So there will be some kind of adjustment at the end of month or end of quarter, end of half year, or whatever might be the case. Okay, so those adjustment will be done through a journal module that we have. So you have to and why we create a separate model, because you have to audit those information, right? So you cannot simply like go and edit that data and you are done, right? So basically you have to do the adjustment through a journal model, where basically it kind of creates an audit trail of all the adjustment that you are doing. Side by side, you'll also do a kind of translation and consolidation, because translation basically kind of converts the value from one currency to the other currency, and consolidation basically it kind of gathers all the data from a bottom level to the top level and aggregates it to the parent level itself. In kind of review and approve, basically as I said you, like we have a something a kind of module called as process management, where basically you have to review the data and approve the data by using this process management tool. Okay, where basically the data gets kind of reviewed by around 1 to 10 reviewers that we have, and one supervisor is basically kind of give a final confirmation, yes, the data looks correct right now, and we can publish data to the database itself. Okay, so that's how basically the approval and rejection comes in the picture over here. So that happens basically in a process management tool, process management model within HFM. And the last, basically, if you can create a static or dynamic reports in a financial reporting, and you can produce the reports in basically in HTML format or a PDF format in that case. So kind of quick overview exactly what HFM business process happens within HFM itself. Okay. Coming to the dimensions, okay, that's a main piece of HFM where basically dimensional metadata we say. Okay, now suppose if you see there's a number called as 3689. Okay, so the kind of data that you see, but I don't understand exactly what is this data. Okay, so you can just say like HDFC Bank has done a kind of 3689. Okay, so what exactly 3689? So basically you have to say that's kind of, so you have to kind of create a dimension for that particular data, right? So it's kind of actual data for the month of January, and was kind of sales day kind of company that has done, okay, for which particular region like Manhattan, and which particular product called as Coca-Cola in that case. So if you're talking about any kind of numbers, so you have to give a kind of dimension to the numbers, okay, a kind of point of view that we say. Okay, so that's basically where the dimension comes in the picture for HFM over here. Was a kind of structural elements that kind of describe and hold data. So basically we say that is a metadata which kind of holds data by having those specific dimensions over here. Okay, so that's kind of quick kind of understanding that I want to give it to you, how we can describe a data using the dimension. Okay, so the kind of dimension that HFM has is basically they have 8 system defined dimension, and you can have unlimited custom dimension. Okay, the 8 fixed dimension is basically the scenario, the year, the period, the entity, the value, the account dimension, the intercompany dimensions, view, and the custom dimension. So basically, like in an application, at least you should have minimum 2 custom dimension, and you can have unlimited custom dimension after that. Okay, so minimum 2, and after that you can have unlimited. So that's how basically it has been designed. So basically, like if you see like at least you should have 8 dimension. After that you can have a number of dimensions over here. Okay. Yeah, so 8 fixed dimension, after the 2 minimum custom dimension, and I can have unlimited custom dimension. So basically that's how way that you can say like I this particular data. So say for example I'm talking about scenario, that means I'll just give in details for exactly scenario. So scenario is basically kind of scenario for the data, like it's a actual data or the budget or a forecast of the prior year before that. So just to make sure, like to understand exactly what is this data for which particular scenario. Okay, so that's how scenario comes in the picture. Year basically is the kind of fiscal year, so this particular year or the last year or the year after that, or probably the upcoming year. So basically that's how the year comes in the picture. Okay, periods basically are the kind of periods like every Jan to December, or probably a quarterly, or probably a half yearly in that case. That's how the period comes in the picture. View basically how you want to see the data is a kind of YTD or periodic. YTD basically like year to date. That means basically kind of do a accumulation of data for the say for example I want to see a YTD value of March. Okay, in that case what happens, it will be like a data of Jan, Feb plus March. So it's a kind of accumulation of the previous period of the same year. Okay, that's basically the view that you want to see. Or else if you want to see a kind of data for the particular month, you can select the view as periodic, where you can see the numbers for that particular period itself. Entity basically is kind of reporting structure in organization, or the regions or the divisions that we can have, where basically you can categorize that in a base entity from the bottom of our organization structure. Coming to the values, basically, we talked about this and multiple currency, right? So if you have a kind of multi-currency application, so then basically the value dimension does a kind of auditing of each and every numbers, how the numbers are getting translated, how the numbers are getting adjusted and all that from a local currency to the parent over here. Okay, so kind of it does a kind of auditing of all data itself over here. Okay, that's how the value dimension comes into the picture. Accounts basically you can the hierarchy of the natural account dimension, that here the chart of accounts. Okay, so it can be like revenue, expense, or asset, liabilities, whatever might be the case. ICP, as I told you, like it's a kind of, if you have any kind of intercompany transaction, you can track those through the ICP dimensions that we have. Custom basically, as I said, like you have to if you want to specify some different things to a particular number, like what is this particular product is all about, what is the customer is all about, okay, what is the channel, what is the balance sheet movements, like it's a movement over the time, MOT or anything as such. In that case, we have to, it's a kind of generic dimension that we can create, okay, which you have to basically create within a HFM. And after that you can say like it's a kind of this particular product, like if you want to define Coca-Cola as a product, in that case you have to define the product Coca-Cola probably in a custom dimension over here. So basically that's how the custom dimension works in HFM over here. Okay, so this is a kind of a quick overview of the dimension and the kind of members that we have. How to kind of load and extract. If you have worked in HFM, basically this is a kind of workspace screen where basically we have this application elements where you can kind of load the data. So as a .app file or .xml file. Okay, so in a .app file you will have all these 8 dimensions. Okay, along with that you will have the application settings, okay, and the consolidation method, okay, and also you'll have the kind of number of members, okay, as well as the hierarchy, like this is reporting to that, that is reporting to that, in all those cases. And this is how basically you can load and you can also extract over here, okay, where you can extract all the metadata in one go. Okay, in case you want to extract only particular metadata, like particular scenario, in that case you can select that, okay, or else you can extract as a whole and you can also load the same. So in case like why we have given the process, in case like say for example you want to do some testing on the applications, or probably you want to migrate the application from one environment to another environment, from say for example from dev to UAT or UAT to OAT or probably OAT to production. That is a process that we can do where we can move the metadata from one place to another place. Okay, so that's a kind of nice way where you can extract the metadata and I can load the same into HFM. Quick overview of the data forms, the kind of forms that we have. So we have 2 ways to represent data. Basically, one is data grid and one is data form. So data form basically is kind of, it's kind of limit the point of view selection where you can apply and have some row column formatting. Also, you have a kind of custom calculation over here. Say for example, if you want to do a calculation of A plus B plus C accounts, okay, in that case you can have that in a nicely formatted way. Where you can do a custom calculation of numbers. Okay, so that's how basically data forms comes into the picture. It's a kind of template, okay, kind of with a predefined rows and columns that user can use to input data as well as view the data as well. Okay, or can you have some custom calculation where you can say like I want a sum of so and so rows or sum of so and so columns over there as well. Okay. Also, we can do a calculation, a force calculation, or a kind of execution in case if you have on-demand rules over here. And also, you can link define forms. Say, for example, I want to go from this form to that form. You can also link that. And also, in case if you want to do a drill back where you want to see what is the source data of this application, you can use this drill back features of where you can drill back to FDME and you can see the source data over here. Coming to data grid, basically, it's a kind of one more way to kind of represent data inside HFM, where basically it's anyone can kind of create a data grid, where basically it's a kind of creating a point of view where you want to see a data for a particular scenario, particular point of view. Okay, so it's a kind of same like Excel spreadsheet like interface where for viewing as well as for entering data. You can also submit data over here. Okay, so we have this option called as submitting data, where I can submit data in case if you feel I need to submit something from this data grid. Okay, so same thing we can do from data form, but the one thing that is an exception of data form, basically you can create some custom rows or custom custom calculation where you can do a summation of so and so rows or so and so columns in that case, where basically the data forms comes into the picture. Okay, so coming to the kind of market situation. So if you see the screen right now, so there's a kind of Gartner basically is a kind of world research, leading research and advisory company, which kinds of review all the kind of companies that we have in the market. Okay, and also kind of release a kind of quarterly or probably annual reports out of it. Okay, so the last year they kind of reviewed all the kind of financial close and the planning applications that we have in the market. And if you see my screen right now, Oracle is basically leading in both the spaces, okay, as Oracle as a leader, okay. And if you see SAP and all, or probably tactics and any other application are still in the visionaries, okay. So for the last few years, Oracle has been a leader basically in all the, if you're talking about a Hyperion HFM application or Hyperion planning application, they have been leading in both the places if I'm talking about the current market position. Coming to the kind of career and job opportunities, so as you know, like if you go with any companies, so basically it's kind of difficult to get the right candidate where they have a good technical skills as well as a good fit for this organization. In that case, any organization that we go, if you're looking over, like I say, for example, talking about freshers over here, so they need to have kind of knowledge in probably like experience in .NET or VB or basically Java in that case, because that's something they have been kind of learned in their college days and something like that. But if in case if you have the right Hyperion skill, in that case, because Hyperion is kind of complex tool, as you know, so if you have the right Hyperion skill, you get absorbed for sure, because you have to make sure your basics are clear and you have to make sure how the Hyperion application works. Okay, so as you know, like if you have a knowledge in HFM, you cannot get a role as a HFM developer, or probably a support engineer, probably an admin role, like an infrastructure role, or as a consultant, where basically they'll be involved in all this implementation and all those stuffs. And as you know, like average salary of any Hyperion profession is always like more than 1.5 times more than any IT skills that we have in the market. And since like it's a kind of application that's being kind of used across all the finance organizations, for any kind of finance operations for any kind of market, so coming to automobile section, or coming to a banking domain, or any other domains that we talk about, so they need to have a kind of finance department, right? So this application is kind of widely used. I know like there's a lot of computers with Hyperion like SAP and all, but still the way Hyperion kind of, I know like the way Hyperion does the sales and how the kind of support they have, okay, people prefer more like, because SAP is kind of tool where there's a lot of license involved, like you cannot have for kind of studying SAP itself, you need a lot of kind of license. For installing SAP, you need a lot of license and all those stuff. But the kind of Hyperion, the way kind of it deals with the kind of I mean to say with a lot of companies, it's very easily kind of reachable, and the way it works. So people prefer more for any other application to Hyperion in that case. If you are talking about any financial organizations over here, as being used mostly in small, middle, or probably a large scale organization across the globe. Okay, so this is kind of quick overview of the career, and if you want to have a career in Hyperion, or probably are looking for a job opportunity within Hyperion. So these are kind of opportunities that we have: the developer role, or support engineer, or probably admin, or a consultant role over here. Coming to certification, so as you know, like if you have a good depth knowledge of Hyperion, I mean to say, not related to HFM or planning or anything else, you can always go for a certification, because if you have some certification, definitely I mean to say, you'll get a good raise, or probably you'll be absorbed very soon in that case, right? So it's always good, like if you're kind of having a kind of good experience in so and so, or probably have a kind of have as a recent training on so and so thing, so and so Hyperion technical knowledge. So it's better to go for certification as well, so that you have a kind of Oracle certification along with that. Okay, and yeah, I mean, so as a part of training, they have Mindmajix, so probably they kind of, the way they kind of they give all the training curriculums, as well as the training modules, as well as the kind of dump they provide, it will be very helpful for you to, in case if you are going for a training and all those stuff for Oracle itself. Because I think due to this pandemic, they have kind of slashed all the prices for Oracle training, sorry, Oracle certification. So previously it was around like 45K, but I think currently they have make it around like 15K and all. So in case if you are going for any training or anything, I like, you probably should go for certification, so that you can clear that as well as soon as that. Okay, so this is a kind of quick overview of Oracle HFM. Yeah, probably
Kaushik, what's the, yeah, Kaushik Shailesh here again.
yeah.
What's the training fee for FCCS?
Uh, I'm not sure. Probably can reach out to Mindmajix. I think they can give a clear idea on that. Okay, over here.
Okay.
Okay, so probably approach Raju. Yeah, over here. Or drop a mail or call them in that case. Yes, Victor, I think there was a question from your side. Yeah, hi.
Yes, Kaushik. Besides financial management, do you cover? I understand now that you do cover a smart view. How about EaseBase?
Yeah, so we have a kind of training module in SBase as well. So yeah, if you want to, yeah, there's also like demos that happens on SBase as well. So you can approach Mindmajix. They can also help you in that. Yeah.
Okay. Besides, if someone does not have IT background and has
Okay.
not worked and has not worked in Hyperion before, but has a
Okay.
strong interest in learning and understanding Hyperion, what role he would be looking for? End user, admin, or hybrid of financial analyst or business analyst? What's your opinion?
Okay, thanks for asking that, Victor. That's a very good question, I'll say, because yeah, that's the kind of queries I think most people have. Like, I have a kind of background of like Java or something .NET. Can I go for Hyperion? Or probably I'm a fresher, I have my experience in so and so technology. Can I go for Hyperion? Definitely can go for Hyperion. Yes, there's a kind of add-ons that you also get, like say for example, if you're kind of a finance guy or probably a commerce background, or probably if you have a knowledge in finance domain, like if you worked in a bank, or probably like if you have known Hyperion, yes, then you can go for definitely as like a developer or a consultant in that case. But yeah, if you're kind of starting afresh, yes, definitely, because Hyperion doesn't require a kind of like you have to have a like a basic knowledge of like SQL or something like that. Okay, so if you want to start fresh, you can go for Hyperion at any point of time. Okay, because the way the kind of training modules has been designed, okay, it will be helpful for you to kind of understand, because we make sure that your basics are clear, because that's how it goes. Now if you have kind of doing Hyperion for the first time, okay, then you can go as a kind of Hyperion user over here, like a kind of end user, I'll say. Okay, but yeah, if you have a kind of very good experience or background of Hyperion, in that case you can go as a developer role, or probably can go as a consultant role. Okay, or else probably can approach as a business user, probably can approach as a kind of Oracle support engineer in that case. I hope that answer your questions.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. My second question is, should you decide to run this program, what is the duration?
Yeah, so it depends, like say for example, like you can have a like basically one-to-one, okay, or probably can have as a group itself. Okay, so the kind of minimum duration that it takes is like around like 20 to 24 hours. Okay, now if you approach like say for example Oracle, like they do it in 5 days, but in case for Mindmajix, it depends, like it's as per your convenience, because it might be a case you might be a fresher, it might be a case you are kind of experienced person, like where you are still working and you have to also do your daily activities along with that. Okay, so it can be like a 1 hour daily, or 2 hours daily, or probably it depends like as your time like convenient, like maybe over the weekend, over the weekdays, like that. Okay, so in terms of like training, it takes around like 20 to 24 hours, which can be over 24 days or 20 days in that case, because all as per your convenience.
Okay, it can be spread out.
Yeah, so if you want to kind of finish everything in a kind of a week itself, we can do that. If you want to go smoothly in a daily basis, okay, like one module per day, because we have around like 19 to 20 modules in HFM, okay, which you have to cover as a part of training. So basically we cover like daily 1 hour, 1.5 hours like daily, okay, which cover each and every module. So also we have some kind of work that like homework that we also do, like because we also give an environment to you where you can host your Oracle applications and you can play around with that. So whatever you kind of go through the session today, you can go back to your system and you can play around with that and come back tomorrow. Okay, so probably it will be like a play around exercise for you.